I am off today and it feels good. um, Today we're going to do day 71 in the Unstuck series by Kimberly Jones. And before I get started, let me grab this. This video, all my videos are brought to you by the book Legal Break-In, the official book for beginners. I wrote it for you from the heart. Short read actually, but it's if you're a total beginner, that book is for you. And you're not in the field right now, but you're looking at this career, you want to make a career change, I would say this is step number 1. Number 2 is before or even while you're in a 2-year program or a certificate program, join my membership. You can opt in and opt out whenever you want. But that will not open though until Black Friday. But that's not that far off, okay? So stay tuned for that. That will teach you the practical side of being a paralegal. And I go into day 1 and 2 on the job and what to do, okay? So today we're going to talk about that you will excel in this career. Okay, it's a decision you're going to make, and you're going to put the effort in. It doesn't just happen. What was the effort I put in? Well, I was deficient in word processing. I had an Apple Macintosh at the house, the Mac, and it was light years ahead of what offices were using at the time. And they were all most offices were using IBM PCs, and it was very backwards. They hadn't caught up. And so that was throwing me for a loop. The Mac had all what we see today, pull down menus, and very advanced. But the IBM PC didn't have that technology. Apple owned it. And so it was crazy to work on an IBM PC, having had a Mac. Let's see, I went into the legal field in 1990. For 9 years I used an Apple Mac, and then faced that in the legal workplace. It's just so behind the times. So I had to take a class in basically going backwards in word processing so I could function in the legal workplace. I had to get up to speed with how they spoke in the law firm. My English was fine. It's just that there's a whole different language in the legal field. And that took some time getting used to. I just got some cheat sheets to help me with legal terminology, and I would look words up that they were using in the legal field that I really had not heard of. Okay, so it's different language. Step by step I added to what I knew. Let me see if I can pull my notebooks right here. I used a notebook. Not when I started, but when I started looking for my second job, I realized I should have been writing down everything I was learning. That's what I tell you to do. I tell my students in my membership to write down every single task that they have learned, and you keep that for yourself. Don't write client names in here. It's just titles of documents. How did you construct it? Write all of that stuff down. This is for you to keep. You don't leave it at work. It's a private notebook on how to. Okay? But that helps you look back and go, oh, I have learned a lot. And pat yourself on the back. If you take that advice, you will do so well. And to not have the attitude that you need to be spoon-fed like the bird in the nest, that you will seek out information on your own, that you will be like a major detective and investigator. You will do superbly, okay, if you change or take that attitude. All right, so let me read to you, and I'm going to say this: stop worrying so much about it. It just means you have to put effort in and look at what you've done, and then know that you have a lot more to learn, okay? So, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty in God, for pulling down strongholds, casting down arguments, and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, bringing every thought into captivity to the obedience of Christ. That's in 2 Corinthians 10, verses 4 and 5. I tend to be we call a worry wart, and I have to constantly give it to God, and say, you take it, I can't handle this, and trust God to help. Okay, perfect love casts out all fear. A lot of worrying is based in fear. But what's interesting, so is procrastination based in fear. When you start procrastinating to the max and you're putting off going into this field because one little thing set you off, somebody said something and you're like, oh, then I can't do it either. Don't let little things like that stop you. If your state paralegal regulations, and I push this, read your paralegal regulations for your state, Google it, and see who can call themselves a paralegal and how. I mean, most of the states allow somebody to go into the field with just a high school diploma, but they can't call themselves a paralegal for a certain amount of years. That's according to the regulations, okay? Not according to Leslie. It's according to the regulations. It says you can have a 2-year degree, a certificate, or it's always or a high school diploma. So they give these options within most of the regulations. California says 2-year degree or certificate, period. So, and you can, if you're in California, research that, okay? What I do when I start to worry or I start looping a negativity in my head is I start just going into more gratitude for what God has done in my life. And so that zips me out of that fear and worry mode and that looping mode of what if. Well, change it to, even if XYZ happens, I'm going to keep pushing forward and not give up. Giving up is not an option. Being stagnant is not an option. It will just compound things and make things worse. When you worship and you're full of gratitude, the worry has to flee. There's not enough room for worry when you're worshiping or praising the Lord, or thanking Him for what He has done. So determine what is your responsibility and what is not. And that one of the big things here is trusting God. If He wants you in this field, whatever career He wants you in, trust Him that He'll open the doors, but you have to make the effort. So if you're looking at changing a career, you're a teacher who's burning out, you're a nurse who's burnt out, this is your first step. Do you have to come from a professional background? Again, no. Remember what I just said about paralegal regulations. That's why I want you to read them. It is very inclusive. And the states overall, except California, didn't want to exclude people because they couldn't afford to go to school or go to get a 4-year, 2-year degree or get a certificate. They didn't want people to be excluded. So if that's you, then that's good for you to read that regulation and go, oh, so if I have a high school diploma, or even somebody contacted me yesterday and has a degree from another type of degree that of course doesn't help you in the legal field, right? But the practical knowledge is what helps you so that you can hit the ground running when you get that first job and get your foot in the door. Attorneys are totally open to hiring beginners. We all started with zero experience in the legal field. All of us. Zero experience. Most of us did not have internships. Even now, they're not getting internships. They're just applying and getting a foot in the door with a degree, with a certificate, or none of the above. It depends on what, like California has hard and fast rules about that. They didn't for many years, but they instituted that. I don't know how many years ago it was. It was more than 5, I think. So you can look up that on Google. Okay. Now, if it takes you to a college website or something, that's not where you need to go. All right. So make sure you're going to the state regulations. It'll look different in Google. So what is your responsibility? Your responsibility is to understand many, many different areas of law. And what do paralegals do every day in those areas? Get your notebook and start watching a lot of my videos here on areas of law. There's a whole playlist called Areas of Law. And do that for yourself. And ask yourself, what 5 areas are attractive to me that I'm reading about? And are there jobs open for that? Sometimes you got to keep your mind open about getting into the field and getting your foot in the door. It may not be, the first job may not be in the area of law that you were interested in. But take it from me that you're going to learn so much that will help you get into maybe the job of your dreams. Okay? So stop worrying, give it to God, and trust God to open the door for you, but you put in the effort. Okay, don't expect to be trained on the job. Even if they're putting ads online that say training provided, be very skeptical. Red flag. Because that means they put a burden on a paralegal in the law firm to answer your questions. They're not running a school there. So how will you help the attorney on day 1 and 2? Join my membership coming up on Black Friday, open for 72 hours. That's why I created the course that I have. So you can go to my website and look under Accelerator and you'll see that what that entails. But it's paralegalcoffeetalk.com and look under Accelerator. Join the Paralegal Resource Hub today. Click on the link under that tab on my website and join that today and watch the videos there and get that advanced Microsoft Word training that's in there. Okay? Have a great day today, and I will see you in the next video. Be sure to like and subscribe, please, so that more people will see this video and they are helped by it. That truly helps it be seen by the people that need to view it. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.